Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Karen Kozia-Phillip, and this is your C News update at 4 o'clock. The Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association says several of its teachers at the Ste Madeline Government School are working in fear and are being disrespected by officials from the Ministry of Education. At a press conference this morning, the group's president, Lindsley Dudai, also addressed the issue of a student being robbed on her way to school.
We were told was late for school and would have deviated from the normal route that students would use to get to school, and she would have been passing through an apartment block, and she was held up by a group of persons wearing bandanas over their face, and she was told to hand over her possessions, which included money and a cell phone. Okay, and I think she did that. She was told from what was told to us that she did not hand over the possessions, her possessions, she would be raped. She did hand over the possessions. We understand here at TTUTA that someone raised an alarm and she was able to escape.
2 men have been hospitalized following a shooting incident at an HDC apartment complex at Lawrence Street in San Fernando. According to reports, at around 4:30 p.m. on Thursday, a 33-year-old laborer and a 19-year-old laborer were liming at the complex when 3 men, said to be wearing masks, were seen coming in their direction. CNews understands the 2 victims began to run and the men opened fire. Both men were hit in their legs. They were taken to hospital for treatment. Police believe it was a deal gone bad. Within 100 days, the government can put measures in place to strengthen the protection orders for the protection of women. So says Amilcar Sanatan, research assistant at the Institute of General and Development Studies. He said when a court intervenes, men feel as though they have taken their property, which is the woman, hence they may become more violent.
We know that one does not hold up and meet on its demands. In terms of what it could do, a protection order does not always protect. And that is something within 100 days, the Prime Minister could look at fixing seriously if he identified as a problem.
As it relates to the Prime Minister's statement on Monday about not being in women's bedrooms or their choice of men, he said it contradicts what government started in 1991.
That is a contrary statement because in 1991, domestic violence became public policy in Trinidad and Tobago. And what does that mean? If the state recognizes that domestic violence is a problem and has to be expressed in public policy, it is no longer in the bedroom. It is no longer a domestic. Domestic is not separate from society. It's easy for people to see. And dare I tell you that persons who are victims of violence in the home are actually most vulnerable.
Ian Wallace has a weather forecast for stargazing tonight.
Overnight into tomorrow, there's a triple treat for stargazers with a full moon, a comet, as well as a partial lunar eclipse. Look for a breezy end to the afternoon with flags rippling and palms swaying. If you're heading to the seas, the rough seas bulletin remains in effect, so take care and exercise extreme caution, says the Meteorological Service. Overnight into Saturday, some Saharan dust may well arrive, bringing some hazy skies through the weekend. Expect a cooler night, especially in those valleys, of 22 degrees Celsius during the early hours. For mariners, those fresh to strong trade winds of 20 to 25 knots in the Atlantic will continue to bring rough seas nearing 4 meters east of the Lesser Antilles. Through the Caribbean, expect waves up to 3 meters, with easterly swells of 10 seconds becoming northeasterly at times along those eastern shorelines. Tide is low at 10:30 p.m., then high at 4:30 a.m. That is the latest weather, and I am meteorologist Ian Wallace.
And that was your C News update. I am Karen Kozia-Phillip.